Hello and welcome to Buildings of Tomorrow. My name is John Lester, and in this episode we'll be talking about data visualization. I'm joined in the studio today by Tyson Suter, a Global Business Development Manager for Digitalization at Siemens Smart Infrastructure. Tyson, welcome.
Thank you.
Give us an insight. What is data visualization? So,
everyone's seen these great dashboards and visualizations, maybe in a kiosk or in an Excel table. This is stuff that people say, okay, I've collected all this data, I want to visualize, I want to make it digestible. Make it very easy for a non-technical person to understand the data. Now, it's pretty easy to make those visualizations, but without all the work of collecting and understanding the data and even analyzing the data, the value of those visualizations significantly reduces. So what's really important is saying, okay, we want to visualize the data, but we want to solve some problems first. We want to understand what we're looking at. Maybe even do some kind of analysis and some work in the background. And the visualization becomes, here's all the results we've made. Here's showing the successes of us, but also making this incredibly valuable data set available to anyone without having to be an expert in buildings or data analytics.
Because this is one of the points, isn't it? In most cases, the person who's operating a building or the engineer or the facility manager who has to take this information and actually make decisions from it will not be a data scientist or a mathematician.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're doing really good work on site and you're improving all the measures and saying like we're hitting all our targets and we're solving a lot of really complex problems or just making significant savings or improvements, being able to show that and represent that to someone that maybe hasn't had the experience on site is just as valuable. So they can say, okay, I have confidence that this work's happening. I have visibility on the benefits and I can measure what you've promised me through the work. So they can say, great, we're doing well, not just to one building, but all my region of buildings, to all my country of buildings, to the huge portfolio. So at every level of the company that we're engaging with, they have confidence that the work is being done correctly to what they're paid for. We can build that trust relationship through these visualizations.
So it's not just making the data that we collect and the processing that we do on that data visible and digestible. It's also taking these measurable benefits and presenting them in conjunction with the data to show these are the changes we've made and this is the impact that it's had. Can you give us an example of just something that you've had in your experience where there was a really powerful delivery that this visualization made possible?
Yeah, so there's many cases where if you're doing all this like significant savings on the work, but we're not really, something doesn't seem right. Maybe there's something, the consumption's going up or we're not capturing something. And in this case, it was something that wasn't on our system, so we couldn't analyze it, but it was water consumption that wasn't being metered in the traditional sense, but year on year, the utility cost was, month on month, the utility cost was going up. And we catched at the first utility bill saying, hey, we're making all this significant savings through water and energy, but actually our consumption is going up overall. So through this visualization, we instantly caught it through the first week of operation when we collected the data, and we went to site physically and found that there was water running straight down the drain constantly. But if we didn't catch that's a huge cost line over the course of a month or a year. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially.
And that's an interesting point that you touched on there as well, because when you have defined KPIs, you can come up with a tactic and approach to use data to reach those KPIs. But through effective data visualization, you can also identify other aspects that you can address and other things that you should focus on that perhaps wasn't the ultimate goal or the initial goal with your data analytics strategy.
Yeah, and another example that comes to mind is that when you look at a region of buildings and you say, why over per square meter am I just spending so much more on energy? And then you start looking into it and realize, well, this is actually a purchasing issue. We bought the wrong equipment for this region. So it becomes very clear when you have like a scale approach, and when you get focused on one building, it's hard to see the bigger picture. Visualization, I would say, okay, well, this part of this region is just costing me much more per square meter, yet it's the same conditions. Like, why is that happening? And that's when you can say it's not just if the equipment was running perfectly fine, just compared to other types of equipment, it wasn't effective. So this is the stuff that we can really see once you have a wider approach and be able to see everything at once.
So make the data that we collect and make the benefits and the decisions that we make easier to digest and recognize, but also make it possible to look at a wider scope without getting so much information that it's impossible for us to absorb.
Exactly. And the baseline could be based off poor performance, and this can easily show that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us here on Buildings of Tomorrow. Please feel free to comment, like, and share this episode, and also ensure to subscribe to us here on this channel. We'll see you again soon.